Hey guys, Coil Creations here, and today I'm going to be making a buff Tatsugiri from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now the first thing we will start with is the armature, which is going to be what everything's going to be sitting on top of. Here I will be marking off some of the joint spots here, but don't get used to them because I'm going to be foolishly erasing them later. Next, slightly off screen, I will be putting on the arms of the armature. Get used to this because this is something that I tend to do a lot in this, since this is the first time I'm recording. But yeah, I tend to put the work that I'm doing off to the side or just not on screen, which is really irritating to watch back on. Now it is time to roll out the clay, which is I'm going to be using with my trusty dandy Pastor Roller. Now this thing is a godsend for flattening out pieces of clay for just bulk putting stuff on. I don't use it nearly as often as I should, but it's something that I do really like to use. It's just so satisfying. Now taking some aluminum foil, I'm going to be bulking out the legs so I can save on the clay. And now it is time to start on the definition on the body, starting with the pectoral muscles. And really I'm just using my hands to kind of mush the clay together to get the form that I'm looking for, and then going with the ball stylus afterwards to kind of flatten things to how I want them to look. I'm now going to use some little cornflakes of clay, I guess that's what you call them, I don't know, to make the abs of the Tatsugiri, as well as some little lines to connect the cornflakes to the body. I don't exactly know what these lines do on the human body or if they're actually correct, but I just decided to put them on there and I think they look nice. And now the most important piece of the pecs, the eyeballs, or as people like to call them, nipples, I guess. I'm also going to add a lump of clay right here for no particular reason whatsoever. Now it is time to put some noodles on the pecs to kind of give it a little bit of definition, I believe. I don't know, I looked up some references and that tends to be what they look like, so I'm going to stick with it. Next I am going to bulk up the arms to give them some muscly looks. This is really just putting lumps of clay that are resemblant to potatoes on the arms until they look like something like a strong arm or something. This whole process is really just smoothing things out with my hand and then throwing another lump on there until things start to look right. There's no real rhyme or reason what exactly I'm doing in most of this sculpt for that matter. I'm just kind of throwing stuff on there to kind of make it look like something. And I think I did a pretty good job, but we'll have to see in the finishing product. And now it is time for the back. Now this is kind of the same course as the front. We have the back pectoral muscles, I don't know if that's what they're called, as well as the long noodly abby bits. I don't know what they're called. Honestly, I didn't look up any muscles or anything like that. I've literally just been looking at references of shirtless men. I need help. I truly need help. After the back, I am going to work on the buns of this fish. And a lot of people would say that this is the most important part of the sculpture, but I'll leave it up to you guys. I shall add a neck to this sculpture, and then little nubby arm things. Now, I'm terrible at sculpting hands, so I just figured I'm gonna go with the flipper option, which is just little nubby nubs, and that helps my sanity. With the legs, I opted for the simple strategy of adding little blocks of globs on the leggy parts, and just kind of fleshing those out to make them have definition. I took reference from my legs because they are massive, and I don't know, I think I'm really happy with how the legs on this sculpture turned out. They're probably my favorite part. Now, while we're sculpting the legs, some of you might be wondering, why did I try and do Tatsugiri? And honestly, I got a little bit of a motivation from watching a podcast that I tend to watch called the Round 1 podcast. And they were talking about Schneebs. So honestly, probably for the rest of this video, I'm going to be calling them Schneeb. But yeah, I just saw Schneebs as really buff Tatsugiris. Now, surprise, surprise, the forelegs, I think that's what they're called, the bottom section of your legs. I'm going to be using the tactic of just, again, making worms and then squishing them together. Taking 2 worms and squishing them together to kind of get the look. And then I'm just going to mold them to kind of make them look more like a leg. Again, there's not really a rhyme or reason like a lot of things that... And another scene of me bulking this section out. I'll add 2 nubs for the feet. That way I don't have to make as a lot of detail because they're gonna be fins. It's intentional. It's not because I don't know how to sculpt feet. Anyways, moving on to the neck section. Now, the fun part about this neck section is I'm literally gonna be covering it up with the head as well as the rice ball. So me doing this is completely pointless, and I don't even know why I included it. I guess just to tell you that it was there. And there goes with the rice ball. Bye-bye, detail! Next will be the head that I'm going to use the ball stylus to make little eye divots so I can shove in some eyes. And no, these beans are not pre-cooked. I'm just shoving raw clay into this guy's socket and hoping I don't mush it or ruin it. Now, I love the look of the slightly closed eye Tatsugiri, so I put a little bit of clay just right on the top there. Now, as soon as I added the fin, this was like the detail that really cemented that, oh hey, this is starting to look like a Tatsugiri. This was the piece here that really made everything come together. Now, using the ball stylus, I'll blend everything together and put some little divots in the fin itself to kind of give it some, some depth to it. Before starting to work on the banana hammock, I think is what these are called, or thong, or something, or another. Anyways, this is probably the most cursed part of the video, and I'm sorry, very sorry. I'm really not, but I'm sorry. And that is the sculpting done. As you can see, he looks fantastic. I love him. But anyways, now it is time for the paint. So I'm going to prime it with some white. After the priming with the white paint, I'm now going to put some orange paint on it, or as some people would call it, orange. I'm not very good with my colors. Next will be a slightly darker orange for the spots on the Tatsugiri. And here I kind of debated on whether I wanted just the feet to be painted this orange or if I wanted the whole legs. I ended up going with the whole legs because I just much prefer the look of it, especially if I consider the legs to be the fin parts, the whole fin parts. Now, I know I said that the fin was where everything started to come together, but in actuality, it was this painting right here. Here's another booty shot for you guys as I'm painting it darker orange. That was probably the main reason why I wanted to paint the whole entire legs this darker orange, just so I could get another one of these booty shots. And now it is time for the banana hammock. I wanted it to have like a nice red because I felt like it had a great contrast to the other colors on this sculpt. Now it is time to paint the belly with a milk white. I really like how this looks, honestly, on the sculpt and the finished product. But here, it just looks really watery and kind of gross in my opinion. Just hold out on it for now. And of course, the white on the rice ball. Probably the most detailed piece of art that I've ever made was this rice ball. And the eyes. This one was a little bit scary just because of those round circles for the pupils that I had to make. I was really not looking forward to making this. But I think they turned out the best that they could with my ability. And to finish off the eyes, I will take some UV resin to give it a nice glossy look before working on a base. Now, I decided to go with a foam base for the Tatsugiri, or Schneeb if we call it. Now, in order to add some texture, because this is kind of a boring base, I'm going to switch over to some ASMR. And after that, we are left with a nicely textured base. Now that we have our textured base, it is time to start applying some Mod Podge. Now this will help everything kind of hold in place, as well as give us a base to kind of put our paints onto it. With the Mod Podge dried, we can start applying our base coat of brown. Followed by some dry brushing of progressively lighter browns. This will give the base some nice needed depth. I also decided to do some dry brushing of green. This to kind of give a little bit of a mossy feel to the base itself. So that is the base done. Now we can add our Tatsugiri to the base and move on to our glamour shots. And there you have it. That is our Schneeb slash Buff Tatsugiri done. I hope you guys enjoyed this sculpt as much as I did. I'm definitely looking at places for improvement as I'm watching back on the footage. And honestly, I'm excited to do another sculpt. If you guys want more of this stuff, let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, hopefully you will see me again soon. All right, have a good day and goodbye.